Hello, hello. How's it going? uh, um, yeah, I guess it's been like 2 weeks since I last recorded one of these. Doesn't feel like it's been that long, but yeah, it's just slightly over 2 weeks. So, hello. If you don't know, my name is Mickey. This is my One Take Soul series where I talk to you in this very stream of consciousness manner, and I talk about whatever I like. That's it. I don't know. Yeah, so today I don't really have a topic per se. I kind of just want to talk about generally everything going on right now. And yeah, we'll see where that gets us. My mom, my sister, and I had a wonderful time in Colorado for my birthday. I did wind up filming one of these there amongst the trees and such, and that was delightful. I am working on that to be sort of like a special kind of video because I did film a lot of like B-roll and stuff, and I wanted to kind of edit it together really nicely. So eventually I'll get that out. I'm not exactly in a rush to do it per se. Sorry. Yeah, so that was great. I'm excited to get that video out, for mostly just for me to like see it and stuff. Thankfully it worked out. I wound up filming it twice because the first time I didn't have the fucking microphone on. So, I'm so talented. I'm so good at everything I do. Oh man, I swear that's how it fucking goes every fucking time. I went to the gym for the first time today in 2-ish years. 2-ish years? Yeah, I think the last time I was there was like February 2022. Let me double check. Maybe it was March. It's somewhere in here. My information. Maybe? I don't know. No, that's not it. My club. Oh, check-in history. Here we go. So I did today, and I think it was, yeah. But it was nice though. Oh, yeah, can't even go back that far. Okay. Yeah. So, went to the gym finally today. It was fine. It was fine. I just did 30 minutes on the treadmill, and that was it. I need to start lifting some weights or something too. Because did you know? I didn't know this, but did you know that you burn more calories, like in a natural sense, like on your like everyday life? Which I don't know if you know this either, but in your everyday life, you burn like 1,800 calories a day just doing nothing because your body burns tons of calories just existing. So that's something to keep in mind when you start considering how much calories you want to cut from your diet. And then on top of that, you burn more calories for how much muscle you have. So the more muscle you have, you burn more calories. So cardio, while good and great for like heart health and things like that, it's it's only one mechanism, and perhaps not the best mechanism for actually burning extra calories, because the more muscle you develop, the more calories you burn. So, which is super fun because I don't really like lifting in any kind of sense. So, anyway, yeah, that's a thing. I didn't know that. And it's humid as fuck out right now. It is crazy. It's been humid since Friday, and it feels like it's just getting worse every day. And I'm like, I can't even imagine going to Florida. Like, if this is, like, let me look at the weather. I think that this is like 12% humidity, which in Phoenix is pretty high. Oh no, it says 30% today, so that makes sense because it's fucking awful today. On Friday it said it was like 13%, and yeah, that was enough. I was like dying at my desk at work because it was so fucking humid in there, and Do I seem a bit manic to you? I'm not, I promise. Maybe. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, so yeah, it's really humid out. It's driving me crazy. It feels so weird. I'm not used to it. It's usually very dry here, humidity-wise, in Phoenix. So, yeah. But yeah, I do need to start working out more, figuring out how to lose some weight. Obviously, attacking it from the binge eating side is the easiest place to go. But I don't binge eat too much anymore, I guess, or I don't really go overboard on the eating stuff in general too much anymore. But I still eat crap, so it's like, well, you gotta attack that, which sucks. I like eating crap so much, It's so delicious. Anyway. So yeah, generally speaking, I'm not trying to do it all right now, because my brain has a lot going on in it, like, that I want to do right now, and I'm finally feeling like I have energy to do things for the first time in, like, I don't know, a year and a half, 2 years. It's been a long time of just, like, me being like, oh fuck, I can't do anything, I'm gonna die, or I just, like, painstakingly do things. But right now, at least for the past couple months here, I've felt pretty good ever since I stopped drinking, like, heavily. I used to drink heavily a lot, as you may or may not know. But since April 6th, I have not binge drank. Binge drank? Binge drank once, and it's made a big difference, actually, on my energy levels. It's pretty wild. So yeah, if I can match this light to be more cool. Oh yeah. That's like, it's coming from right outside. This is the outside side that's, like, lighting my face here. This is natural light. This is fake light. It's always good to practice lighting. Okay, whatever, that's good enough. That's pretty close. Yeah. So, that'll be 3 months coming up here soon. Pretty big deal for me. That's the longest I've ever gone. Ever since starting. Since I've been drinking every weekend consistently, heavily, for the past, 10 years or so. So yeah. It's good stuff. So yeah, I gotta imagine that that's, like, part of why I'm feeling better, feeling more energized. I'm not so mentally fucked by alcohol, but I do still drink, just very mild amounts. Just have, like, a cocktail. Now I make cocktails. I used to just do shots all the time. Now I just do cocktails, and they're nice, and I enjoy them. What else? So yeah, I'm not trying to do everything right now. There is a lot that I'm trying to work on at the same time, which I know is a recipe for disaster, at least until I get my my endurance up higher. It's the same thing with, like, working out. Like, it's the same concept. At least I apply it the same way. You don't start really heavily in the gym, or working out in general. You don't run 15 miles if you've never run. You start slow and you work your way up. And since I've been doing next to nothing for the past couple of years, I need to flex the muscle some. Need to stretch it out, make sure it's not gonna snap. Because yeah, I don't really want to go back to feeling super burnt out. Obviously there are seasons to everything. There's gonna be ups and downs naturally, and I'm cool with that. I'm fine with following that natural flow, but I just don't want to feel so stuck in a perpetual state of, like, can't get out of it, So that's the goal, is to not do that. So I'm trying not to do that. Yeah. So the gym was a big one today. I don't know if I'm necessarily ready to start going back regularly, but I just wanted to show myself that it wasn't so bad to go, because it's been so long and I've just been like scared of going back because it has been so long in a weird way. I don't know. It was fine. What else? Work is getting interesting in a kind of way because we just had a designer put in their notice and their last day was Friday, and they're saying they're not intending on hiring someone for that to replace that position. So we basically only now have like one fully dedicated designer. We have another designer who helps with design and also helps with mailing, and then we have me, which I'm sort of being stuck on larger projects right now because we're doing a new online ordering system, so training for that is pretty intense right now. We're doing 3 days a week, 2 hours each of those days, and yeah, just we're trying to figure out all this other stuff on the side around that, and yeah, there's just a lot going on with that. So I'm hoping that doesn't wind up cutting into too much overtime, although I'm okay with a little bit of it, because as far as my balances go, if you remember, I've been keeping track of all my hours that I've been spending to see how valid it is to take so much vacation time. Because this year I'm taking 3 weeks of vacation time. I feel like I'm just throwing so much fucking information at you. I'm sorry. But so yeah, this year I'm taking 3 weeks of vacation time. Big fucking whoop. I know. But my work does 1 week a year for 5 years. Okay? Then 2 weeks a year for the rest of the time. So, all that to say, I'm taking 3 weeks of vacation this year. Because why not? It was a whole thing, but I got it worked out. I got it approved. And they've never been very strict about, time off and stuff. But still, it's it's now becoming more of a tension point. It's like, oh, well, we're a small company. We can't have people taking that much time off. And I'm like, well, it's fucking bullshit. So anyway, one of the main purposes that I wanted to start tracking my hours this year, since now I'm salary, is to make sure that should it become a tension point, further down the line or whatever, that I, am taking extra time off, I'd be like, well, I've worked all this extra time, so would you rather like to pay me for that, or you want to let me have a few extra days off? Is generally the point of it, but also just to know where I'm at, because, when I first moved to salary, I was taking over this massive fucking thing, which I have now whittled down to not such a massive thing, but I mean, January I worked 45 hours of extra time in January, and then February was 35 hours of extra time, and then March was 10 hours of extra time, and then April was 4 hours of extra time, and then May was 3.5 hours of extra time, and for June so far I'm now negative 3.5 hours. So yeah, yep, which is good. I mean, it's a good progression to be in. Obviously, the goal is to work as reasonable amount of hours as possible, and reasonable is, at this time, 8 hours for 5 days a week. So, but a little bit extra I'm okay with, because I can just bank that mentally and analytically for potential future use. So yeah. Wow, I feel like I'm just not talking about anything important. Freelance work has been going well. I've got one client now. My first $200 a month client has already canceled, just because they don't think that they can afford it right now, and they need to be doing more of that work themselves. Totally get it. It's fine. And then I have one $500 a month client that is going well so far, and I'm currently working on getting another one of those, another client around that range probably. Still needs to have some pretty big discussions about like what they're looking to have done, because they do want my services for graphic design, but they currently have a virtual assistance subscription thing as well. That's a much higher price tag that they are, having to juggle around with. And so I was, talking to them about, like, perhaps depending on what they need, maybe I can take over those virtual assistance needs, because the price tag was pretty high, and I had a feeling that the client didn't actually need all of that. So we'll see. We'll see what that winds up being. But I do have that to do. I do have some work for her to do as like a la carte items. She has some work for me to do from that side, but keeps the relationship open, so that's good. And then oh yeah, my cousin's asking me to rebuild her website from Wix to Squarespace, so I'm gonna be doing that for her. Shouldn't be too bad. Yeah. Oh yeah, I think one of the things that I was going to talk about was like looking into making an LLC. I might say that for a different video, but just to talk about that a little bit more, because it's actually pretty interesting what that all wound up sort of becoming. And I've got an idea to talk about the finances of owning a car for 5 years, because that'll be fun. And then yeah, still kind of mulling over my brand segmentation and stuff. Trying to get this one hair to stop falling. I'm still mulling over my brand segmentation stuff, because I do think that there's a good amount of segmentation I should do. I do know I want to rebrand this channel to like Uproot Talks or something like that, but I still need to do all that. Again, point being, there's a lot going on right now, and I'm not trying to do it all. That's the point of this video. Yeah. Cooking that 1 week went well, but I fell off of it because vacation, and now I just need to get back to it. And that's something that I realized too, was like, coming off of vacation, it was, it's an interruption to a workflow that I was working on and building the inertia behind. That sort of got interrupted by that vacation, which I'm okay with, because it winds up being an exercise of like, okay, how can I get back on the horse? How can I get back going again? And yeah, I don't know. It's it's weird. It's weird when you realize like how much easier things get when you actually like practice them frequently. When you actually build endurance and build inertia, is like the more behind you have that's like that you've already done, the easier the stuff in front of you becomes, which is weird, but it's true. And I've recognized that multiple times now, and so it's nice to feel that sort of consistency behind doing things, but also it still takes work to get back to that inertia state, back to that sort of going state. And then again, recognizing that like, it's not a linear path, it is sort of a wavy path. So a very unorganized way to present this very philosophical idea. Not that's philosophical, but philosophical nonetheless, because it is about using our mental stamina, our mental capabilities to their sort of healthiest extent. I don't know. I just really like sitting around watching YouTube. I don't know about you, but I mean, I guess if you're watching or listening to this 20-minute video, then yeah, you probably agree. Yeah. So, all in all though, all good things. I do have a handful of ideas of videos for these, so I would like to film some of those, and just, keep you in the loop about how things are going freelance wise and personally. And yeah, I don't know, it's just nice to have sort of one place to put it all that doesn't have like any expectations, because I do like documenting my life. I just don't have the desire to do it in like such a traditional way of like, this is what I'm doing, and then this is what I'm doing, and then like editing that. That's too much, man. Like, I'll do it for the special occasions, like the birthday one. That's a good one. It's a good reason to go a little bit above and beyond. Have a special here and there, but not all the time. Not all the time, unless it's for like an actual project or concept or actual channel. Because yeah, right now the way that I'm thinking about like my content segmentation long term, which I know I'm probably just overthinking it, but it might be just too much. Just setting myself up for failure because it's just too much. But like, namely, I want to create graphic design content, or like a content around graphic design education, because I think it could be very beneficial to small business owners who do want to do that kind of creative stuff themselves. That interests me, like, fundamentally, and I think there's a good opportunity to funnel some of my, philosophical beliefs through that, which sounds odd in theory, but I think it might work in practice. Like creative business practices that are like good. I don't know. So yeah, that's one main segmentation that I think that I could use pretty well to funnel, people towards my freelance services and potentially freelance products, things like that. And then I've got the habit notebook idea that I'm still mulling over, which would be a whole separate thing. But I would still probably want to make content to back that up to sort of drive interest and things like that. So that's a whole other thing. And then this channel, which is probably the easiest of the channels, but I do want to rebrand it, so that's going to take some work. And then the main channel, the Uproot channel, is where I would want to put like all of my philosophical work, or like high quality artistic work. So yeah, I don't know, it's a lot. Anyway, that's all. We'll see. I'll keep you posted. Until then, I hope you had a good weekend. I'll talk to you soon. And yeah, go out there and experiment with shit. I don't know. Don't worry about it. Just experiment.